off-roading today at the bottom of a fairly steep cliff, and I thought of the topic of forest, whether it's certainly not virgin forest, but has this piece of property here ever been farmed? And the answer to that is pit and mound. And this, the camera may not pick it up. And if you don't know what pit and mound is, I'll give you an example here in a moment. But generally, reclaimed farm field, even though it's fully forested, the ground is going to be smooth. In pit and mound, you get small depressions and areas around it that are elevated. And I can show you in a sec just how that works. So here is a wind throw or a blown down tree. Not sure how long ago, but let's take a little closer look down into this root area. You can probably, hopefully, see the water that's here. This here is the pit. That's where the roots pulled out of the ground. And if we look at this, all that uprooted soil, stump, roots, as that slowly decomposes, that becomes the mound. And if you have a forest like this, this is from centuries of trees being blown over.
So this is another example of a blowdown, and you'll notice in many cases that there's a fair amount of moisture, sometimes actual puddles laying, and there's certainly some water laying in underneath this one, even though it's been several days since it rained. So in many cases that is part of the reason why the tree blew down, because it's not very well rooted in that wet rocky soil. So in the pit is not a great place for a new tree to start. Now, as the root ball and the stump and all of the associated soil that it took with it, as that decomposes and becomes compost and gradually drops down and becomes the mound, that makes a great spot for a new tree, because it's nice rich soil and a very hospitable, along with being raised up a bit, so if there is any moisture and such, the tree is sitting up a little bit and won't get its roots drowned.
Hope the camera can pick it up. This is where I did one of my tree felling, but you can see the mounds and the unevenness of the ground. That's pit and mound. Again, I just want to try and capture, and I hope the camera picks it up, what some of this pit and mound looks like. It certainly isn't what you call level or even smooth.
So again, not sure how well this is going to show up on the camera, but there's a depression right straight ahead, which would be your pit, and off to this side there's a mound, and come back over and comes up on this side as well. And certainly looking up and around, the ground is quite what our forester refers to as hummocky, what Michael prefers to call pit and mound formation.
I'm in the pit. There, at approximately that height, is the mound.
So that used to be a big tree.
Stump.
Root ball.
Root ball. Again, I hope this will show up. But this area, no pits, no mounds. This was at one time either pasture or tilled for gardening. And even though there's lots of trees currently present, you know, it's basically a recovering field. Okay, just another different shot to show you what reclaimed farmland looks like. Pretty smooth. May not be perfect. Obviously, even pastures were not necessarily desktop smooth. But if you don't see that pit and mound structure, and it certainly doesn't exist here, then at one time this was naked of trees. So if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment, like. We really would appreciate your input of what you'd like to see more of.
See you next time.
Be safe.